What's going on? It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the Boxing Clinic and more. Y'all know what it is, man. We break down prediction day, talking about Terence Crawford going for his third title in three different weight classes. We talking about Jeff Horn, WBO welterweight champion, making his second title defense. He's from Australia, way down under, coming over to Las Vegas MGM Grand Garden Arena, the house that Floyd Mayweather pretty much built. And they got the new T-Mobile Arena over there right across the street, but they fighting at the second-rate venue. So, it's still a great venue. I think it holds like 16,000 to 18,000 people. T-Mobile hold a little bit more with 20 bands for a fight. And, shout out to all the haters out there, man. Shout out to y'all one time for the one time. Everybody get jealous because when you making moves and when you pushing out good content, they can't push out good content. When you self-made and they not self-made, and they riding other fighters' coattail and begging for interviews and doing whatever you got to do. I ain't got to do that. I don't want no interviews. I don't need to ride nobody wave. I ride my own wave. So everybody else out there that's hating on me because you couldn't put yourself on without another man's help, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to join your group. I don't want to be in your group. Nothing like that, man. For sure. And I should show all the love to people that support me, and I support you. And I pop up, do a feature on your show or whatever, though. But, I just don't do it the fake shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to them other fake-ass motherfuckers, man. But we back, talking some real trill boxing talk. And, I think this is going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be better than what people anticipate, at least amongst, the hardcore casual and the purists, man. I think Jeff Horn is Terence Crawford's toughest opponent to date, and I'm going to tell you why before we get into the full breakdown prediction. I think he's fought more skilled fighters than Gamboa and Delorme and Postal, name a few. And some might say Ray Beltran was more skilled than Jeff Horn. So I really wouldn't argue that, but Jeff Horn brings something different to the table. He brings a lot of intangible things, a lot of heart, a lot of grit. His mindset is different. He wants it. He brings a lot of energy. He brings a lot of tenacity. He brings a lot of dirtiness, a lot of grimy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of tricks to the trade. And also a tangible. He brings a solid chin we've seen versus Manny Pacquiao. And, he's physically, strong and big and awkward. And you put physically big, strong, and awkward together, that's going to be a tough out. Especially for a guy in Terence Crawford who's coming up in weight. He's going to be fighting guys that's more of his equal height, size, and length, and strength, and power, and speed, and even faster than him at some point. So this is going to be a challenge for him. He's not fighting any more of them stubby midgets or those tall guys like Postal and Delorme who are not confident in their chin, who don't have a take-to-give mentality like Jeff Horn, or don't have a jaw, or don't just have a heart like Jeff Horn had. This is going to be totally different. We know welterweight is the last weight class where they have 8-ounce gloves. Then it goes up to 10, I believe. So that's something else to think about as well. We'll talk about the gloves a little bit later as well, too. But, talk about the strengths and weaknesses. Go into the strengths. Jeff Horn. Start off with the champ. Jeff Horn is really, really awkward. He's awkward, physically strong, and he's dirty. And I think those are three big strengths right there. His awkwardness is, I noticed in the Felix Diaz fight when I was breaking down film with Crawford, that's the only guy I've ever seen that tried to really pressure Crawford, and he had success with some overhand rights and some left hooks. He was just too short and stubby, and he didn't use his jab. With Jeff Horn, he's going to be long, so Crawford's not going to be able to, put his chin back or lean back and try to, use that height and that length advantage in his limbs to kind of lean back and make guys miss. Because Jeff Horn will tag him with his length and with his, with his height. You know what I'm saying? He will be able to touch him, unlike what Gamboa couldn't really touch him and Felix Diaz couldn't really touch him like that. And unlike Gamboa and Postal, he's willing to take something to get something. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't scared to mix it up and be in Crawford's chest. His dirtiness, he was pushing Pacquiao head down, hitting him on the hip, head butting him. And that's something that Crawford hasn't had to deal with. He hasn't had to deal with a real tough, grimy type of guy. And for Crawford, this is probably his Luis Castillo type of fight that Mayweather had. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be his dirty, grimy fight with a guy who just don't give a fuck. Who's dirty, who's grimy, who's hard-hitting, who will use his head to cut you. So I expect him to go through some trials and tribulations. And I think Jeff Horn is a solid puncher. I think he's above average puncher. But, I think his physical strength wears down on guys as well. He's an okay puncher. I say above average. He got some underrated hand speed as well, too. His hand speed, he's not that slow. But, those pretty much his. And he got some decent footwork. His awkwardness, his awkward head movement, his feints, and his footwork is what gave Pacquiao problems. And they weren't expecting his footwork to be as good as it was. It's in his chin. His chin, it seems to be granite. And, and he got a lot of heart. You talking about Terence Crawford, strengths and weaknesses. Bud is a superior athlete. Let's start off there. He's going to be fast, quick, agile, feet faster, hands faster. He's a really good puncher. We don't know what type of puncher he'd be at welterweight, but he got good punch variety, man. He got a good uppercut, good left hook, good jab, good straight right, good straight left because he switch hits. He's a switch hitter as well. And he's a solid defender, even though I see some holes in his defense. But he's a good all-around fighter, and he'll beat you into submission. His mindset, too. He's a very tough individual. Got shot in the head and drove himself to a hospital after a dice game gone bad. He's tough. He's mentally tough. That was one of his intangibles. He's tough, and I expect him to go through some trials and tribulations and make it through with flying colors because he's a really, really tough kid, man. He's a tough guy, man, and he got a mean streak too, man. Whatever energy that Jeff Horn is bringing to the ring, Terence Crawford is gonna match it with a lot of dark and mean and bad intention energy. Now you talk about the weaknesses. Terence Crawford, I noticed he get hit a lot, man. A lot with overhand rights. He's kind of closed that gap up of lately, but he get hit with a lot of overhand rights, especially when guys are coming down the pipe. He get hit with some left hooks as well there. You can touch him. You really can touch him. His defense is not impeccable. It's not, it's not elite. It's okay defense. Maybe people say because he takes chances on the offensive end that it takes away from his defense. But that's one thing I noticed with him as well. And also, he's moving up in weight. We don't know if he's going to be a smaller, weaker, stronger guy. We don't know what he's going to look like moving up in weight. This is his first experience at the welterweight division. This is his first experience that I've seen on tape since signing with Top Rank, that he's been in there with a true pressure, strong type of fighter. This is what you see. And sometimes, he does get touched. Another weakness I touched on in the past is him trying to go tit for tat. As soon as somebody hit him clean, no matter if he hurt or not, he got to hit him back. In this fight, that can get him knocked out real quick. But other than that, there's no too many weaknesses in this game. Jeff Horn, he's at a speed disadvantage in this fight as well. He's at a skill disadvantage, those are two non-negotiable disadvantages that he's at. Speed, skill, and just, those are the two. He's not the fastest, he's not the quickest. And pretty much that's what it is, man. He got a lot of heart, dirty, grimy, he can do all those type of stuff, but he's just at a disadvantage skill-wise and speed-wise, and we'll see how that make that up. But, I don't see too many other weaknesses for Jeff Horn. The talent, fighting top talent, he fought Pacquiao, he was a little bit old. So he ain't consistently fought young top talent as well, too, so you can squeeze that in there. But, what does Terence Crawford got to do to win this fight? Crawford got to take the fight to Jeff Horn, man. Because not only is this an audition for him for Errol Spence and other welterweights, but this is an audition for him to put the world on notice about ESPN slighting him for being a pound-for-pound champion. And all these other big fighters that he fought that was bigger than him in height and length, and maybe in weight, and maybe at Delorme or Victor Postal, he danced and moved around those guys a lot. And even with Delorme, he was losing a bit earlier, but we was really no danger of him losing. But, he moved a lot. And with Jeff Horn, if he moves a lot and Jeff Horn is able to close the distance, it's going to be a tougher fight than he anticipates. This won't be like Felix Diaz coming in, him just pounding Felix Diaz for 6-7 rounds and stopping him. Jeff Horn will come in and use the jab and give you head movement and feints. And, and Crawford, if he guesses wrong, he's going to get hit. So for Crawford, if I was him, I would use my jab early on, fill out Jeff Horn, and I would push him. I would put him on the back foot because Jeff Horn is most effective coming forward. So if you move around and lose your lateral movement and get into that groove early, and Jeff Horn is able to really smother you and close the distance, it's going to be a problem. So if I was Terence Crawford, I would put the jab on him and push Jeff Horn back. I wouldn't give up too much ground early at all. I use my jab and put him on his back foot because he can't fight on his back foot. I guarantee you that. He's only on a front foot fighter, and if Crawford moves around and dances around the ring, he's going to give Jeff Horn exactly what he wants. And if I was him, I'm using that jab, whatever from the orthodox or southpaw standpoint, Jeff Horn is an orthodox. I'm using my jab and my 1-2 to put him on his back heels, and then I'm mixing in jabs, and I'm touching this guy to the body because I know he has some problems making weight. So I'm just using the 1-2 and possibly mixing in the left hook with it. I'm mixing the left hook upstairs, downstairs. Left hook, right hand at one point. 1-2, and that's pretty much what he needs to do. And then I think the most important and potent punch that he's gonna land, especially if he lets Jeff Horn starts going forward on his front foot, is gonna be that left uppercut. And I think that's one of Terence Crawford's most underrated punches is the left uppercut. He did bad he had bad intentions on Felix Diaz's face with that punch. And I think that's a punch that can end up getting Jeff Horn out of it. Now, if I'm Jeff Horn, what I want to do is I want to be on the back foot. I'm going to be on the front foot. I want Crawford to move early. And Jeff Horn is a risk taker. He's not going to be like Postal and Delorme and just follow Crawford around the ring. He would just jump in with his head down and use a headbutt and push Crawford to the ropes, hit him on his hip and bow him and elbow him and push his head down and make it a dog fight on the inside. And that's what he want to do. He want to come in with his jab, or jump in with a left hook or overhand right, and I guarantee you at one point he will score on Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? He will score, but it comes out with a risk. And what I did mention in the weaknesses is that sometimes Jeff Horn squares up and he takes chances and he leaves himself open. And if he leaves himself open, he's gonna end up like Julius Ndongo when Ndongo went wide and Crawford, stopped him, knocked his ass out. So, Jeff Horn got to keep the head movement, feint, use his jab come in with the overhand right, lead off with the left hook, and he guarantee you he'll start hitting Crawford. Crawford gets hit on a regular basis with overhand rights and with left hooks. He's not a defensive wizard. He's not a defensive genius. He's not the slickest fighter. People talking about Earl not having no defense. Terence Crawford is right up there with some of the most overrated defense out there. He get hit a lot, and he got hit by shorter and stubbier fighters. Imagine if Jeff Horn can really loop that right hand around and land impactful. He's going to tag him, and Jeff Horn is just not going to take a picture. Jeff Horn is going to continue to headbutt him and go to the body. But I'm Jeff. I'm going to the body. I'm working upstairs. I'm using my jab, and sometimes I'm dropping the right hand behind the jab to the body, and I'm working this guy's body and see if he really belongs at welterweight. And for Jeff, it's going to be the overhand right and a left hook. He's talking about knocking Terence Crawford out in one round, which I don't think is going to be possible, but it's going to be a dogfight for a minute, man. But I think Terence Crawford will eventually, find his groove. It wouldn't shock me if Horn could put him down. It wouldn't shock me if he put Horn down and knock Horn out in about 6-7 rounds. Anything before that, I guess it would be a shocker because I think Jeff Horn is a tough guy. He's obviously the inferior athlete here as far as, speed and just, physical gifts. But Terence is a good fighter. He's going to drop the jab in there. He's gonna try to pound on him. He's gonna try to box and move, and I think that's a bad recipe, especially if he starts out boxing and moving early. If I was him, I would be aggressive. I would come downhill on Jeff Horn, create doubt. If you let Jeff Horn get on that front foot and get to walking you down, and eventually cut the ring off on you, it's gonna be a long night. So I think Terence Crawford should come out pressuring Jeff Horn, meet him in the ring, and push him back. And he's going to be very, very limited on what he can do on the back foot. And it's going to be a very, very shock. His head movement going to stop. He ain't going to know what to do. He ain't going to be able to do nothing. But I think that's what Terence should do. And for Horn, put Crawford on the back foot. Make it a dog fight. Make him fight on the inside and see if Crawford can fight on the inside all night. Or if you can wear him down with the body shots and the overhand right. But I expect this to be a good fight just because of how the styles mesh. It might get a little nasty, a little dirty. Crawford might switch to southpaw and show Jeff Horn a different look. I'm pretty sure Jeff Horn has been trying to work on that and trying to get that sparring. But one thing I do notice is that Jeff Horn brought in Ray Robinson, who beat Terence Crawford in the amateurs, and said his family tried to jump him after that. I don't think he had enough top-notch sparring over there in Australia. If that's the best sparring partner he got, I expect Terence Crawford to pound on Jeff Horn to a wide unanimous decision. I'm thinking about a 5-point unanimous decision. I think Jeff Horn finishes on his feet somehow, some way. And I'm going to take Terence Crawford with a wide unanimous decision. And I'm just, I'm trying to really, really, judge what Crawford can do at welterweight off this fight, man. It's going to be very, very interesting. I think Jeff Horn is going to move up in weight after this, after getting his hind tail smacked in Vegas. And I'm just anxious to see how Terence Crawford looks at welterweight, especially after the layoff. And that's something else. It could be a little bit of ring rust. Jeff Horn fought in December. I think Crawford last fought in August, so that's something else to put in there. But Crawford said he let us get his chance to his body to heal. So, I got Crawford by wide unanimous decision. It's TBC and more. Y'all know what it is, man. And shout out to everybody who support the page, man. And shout out to y'all, because I definitely